More on this breaking news from Scotland. A court has ruled the man claiming to be Arthur Knight is actually Rhode Island's Nicholas Alaverdian.
Yeah, so it's a case of alleged mistaken identity that we've been following for several months now. Kate Walsh has been tracking all of the new early morning developments for us. Kate?
Well, this morning we received this court document. It's the ruling from the judge, known as a sheriff there on this. And according to it, the judge ruled that the man claiming to be Arthur Knight, an Irishman who's never been to the U.S., is actually Nicholas Alaverdian, the man originally from Rhode Island, wanted on rape and sexual assault charges out of Utah. Now, this is video of the 35-year-old Arthur Knight arriving in court. Oh, we'll have that in a second, actually. This is the ruling here for day 3 of an extradition hearing on Wednesday in Scotland. Authorities said his fingerprints and tattoos were identical to those of Nicholas Alaverdian, but Knight had said it was a case of mistaken identity. Ultimately, this morning, the judge ruled he was lying. This makes way for decisions on Alaverdian's extradition to the U.S. to answer to those charges out of Utah. Alaverdian faced legal trouble for years, but Rhode Island State Police say he faked his own death back in 2020 when reports surfaced he had died of cancer. Then he ended up in the Scottish hospital with severe COVID in December of last year. He had said tattoos were put on him while he was in a coma at that time, which ultimately was ruled a lie by the judge's decision today. And we've reached out to some Scottish reporters. We also have video coming into our newsroom from the hearing this morning and that ruling as well. We'll have much more throughout the day for you on 12 News. Live in the studio, I'm Kate Walsh, 12 News.
We continue to update you on this breaking news out of Scotland this morning, where a court has made a ruling in the case of Nicholas Alaverdian, the Rhode Island man who allegedly faked his own death.
This morning, the court ruled that the man who claimed to be Arthur Knight is indeed Alaverdian, who is wanted here in the United States on rape accusations.
And Kate Walsh is with us this morning. She has the late breaking developments. Kate?
Well, STV, a Scottish news network, is reporting that the judge, known as Sheriff Norman McFadden, ruled that he was satisfied with the evidence of fingerprints and photos of tattoos matching Nicholas Alaverdian to believe Arthur Knight was him. And we actually got the court ruling itself, those documents, and in it the judge says, I have no valid or coherent reason to doubt that the prints examined were those provided by the U.S. authorities, and that these are, as they assert, prints of Nicholas Rossi, who is charged in their proceedings, and I reject Mr. Knight's explanation as to how his prints came to be taken while he was in hospital and inserted in the relevant files as implausible and fanciful. A man who called himself Arthur Knight appeared in a Glasgow hospital last December with severe COVID. Authorities matched tattoos they saw on him with those of Nicholas Alaverdian from 2010 photos from Pawtucket police. Alaverdian, also known as Nicholas Rossi here in the U.S. Additionally, investigators say Knight's fingerprints were an exact match to Alaverdian's. He's wanted on several counts of sexual assault and rape out of Utah, and there are extradition requests for him to be brought back to the U.S. to answer to those. The ruling today means Knight was lying when he said he's never even been to the U.S. Alaverdian, also known as Nicholas Rossi, went off the radar until news broke of his apparent death in 2020. But Rhode Island State Police and federal officials believed he faked his death, and then he showed up in Scotland this past year with COVID. We have calls and emails out to reporters. We're speaking with them who were in court for this ruling this morning, and when those extradition hearings will be ruled on as well. We'll have much more information throughout the day on that. Live in the studio, I'm Kate Walsh, 12 News.